Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ryan Patrick, Certified Financial Planner. And this afternoon, I'd like to focus on the speech that the President made last night. The State of the Union address has lost a lot of its luster over the years, very sadly. Gone are the days when families would rally around their TV or the radio, even before that, and listen very intently to the President. But it's still a pretty important moment for our country. It's a chance for the President to address the people directly and lay forth his plan for the future, his vision. And right now, he's really talking to the people. He's not talking to Congress, though he was sitting in the center of the chamber addressing everyone. It obviously was a pitch to the people on some of his ideas and his policies. I'll be the first person to tell you that I am a registered Republican. I believe in small government. I believe in lower taxes. And I believe in private sector innovation. So I am viewing the President's speech through that paradigm and through that lens, if you will. But I watched a President that addressed a overwhelmingly Republican chamber and didn't seem very intimidated to lay forth some very ambitious policies. For a minute, I was a little bit surprised, and I kind of questioned it. And then I likened it to a child that's asking for birthday presents. Now, if little Susie wants to get a Power Wheels, wouldn't it be smarter to ask for a pony first, especially in front of all the kids in the neighborhood? I would think so. You probably ask for the pony, and then you hope to get the Power Wheels. So I think my comparison really is that the President was asking for a pony when he knows he's not going to get a trike, but he's probably more likely now to get Power Wheels. Power Wheels were pretty cool back in the day, so it's not a bad job by the President of throwing out some big ideas, including free college education on the community college level. He also wanted to give substantial tax credits to folks that have children in child care and a couple other very worthy causes that are going to catch the attention of the American people. The part of the equation that I'm obviously interested in is how do you pay for all of this? Just like any other equation, it has to be balanced. We have to find the revenue somewhere, and we're $17 to $18 trillion in debt right now, so it's not going to be very popular to borrow the money to make these programs happen. You're going to have to find a way to get revenue out of the tax code. So as a brilliant politician, and that he is, he gave all these promises last night but didn't discuss the details, and instead gave the details of what he proposes in terms of the tax code to the media outlets for them to discuss, where they'll receive much more favorable treatment, obviously, with the media tending to lean left pretty overwhelmingly, with the exception of your Fox Newses and Rush Limbaugh shows. So excellent strategy from a political perspective, but what does that mean in terms of your investments and what you should look out for on the investment side? And two things stood out to me in the way the President plans to pay for all of this. The first is a change to the taxation of 529 college savings plans. For those of you who don't know, a 529 plan is a very basic program in which you contribute money to be used for college expenses for your child. This is pretty comprehensive, includes books, tuition, room and board, pretty much anything that's relevant to your child's college education with some limitations. They worked a lot like a Roth IRA before this proposal, at least, and still do for the time being. After-tax dollars are put in, and then dollars used on qualified expenses would be tax-free on the way out. The President has his way. He's going to tax the earnings at a certain rate, and I'm sure that will also be weighted heavily towards those who have higher incomes. So this could be a substantial change to what are right now in 2014 12 million 529 plans in existence and represent roughly $244 billion in assets. That's a pretty substantial change, and that will change the way that people view college savings. The second is relevant to everybody, not just to those who have children they're planning an education for, is a change in the long-term capital gains rate. A little while ago, the top rate was 15%. As of right now, it stands at 20% for all investments held for a year or more. And the President, if he gets his way, would have that set at 28%. And I find that particularly disturbing on one front. The reason that we were taxing, and one of the most substantial reasons we were taxing long-term capital gains at a lower rate, was to incentivize long-term investment as opposed to more reckless day trading that a lot of people like to engage in. And for the average investor, this is a really, really good thing because most people don't have the time or the expertise to do short-term investments at a high tax rate and end up being successful in their long-term planning and retirement needs. So this is a good way to incentivize Americans to buy good, steady investments and hold them. And then when their marginal tax rate isn't that much lower or higher than the long-term capital gains rate, you're probably not going to see as much long-term holding of investments. That's somewhat concerning to me as an investment mind, but we'll see what the Congress thinks about it as they start to review those policies. Paul Ryan came out immediately and said, I don't know what the president's trying to pull, but in short, he would have no discussion on new taxes. This is going to be a difficult uphill battle for the president. I think he knows that, but the strategy is ask for the pony and get the power wheels. So we'll see if the president gets some power wheels, gets the pony, or maybe ends up walking to school every day. So thank you guys for stopping in. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you next week.